Welcome again to Parapsychology Foundation presents PF International Affiliates Conference New Faces in Parapsychology. As you know, we started this morning at, early afternoon at noon, and we are now in our last session after three extraordinary students and two extraordinary students and one ex-student presented three very interesting, very different, but all very well done, substantive sessions for us today. So we'd like to thank all of you who've been hanging with us all day long and are listening, and we'd like to thank those of you who are watching the recording in WizIQ, and also those of you who might be watching in the future on YouTube, the Parapsychology Foundation YouTube channel, because this was an extraordinary experience. So Lisette, I'm going to turn the floor over to you. Get your mic on.
Okay, guys. Yeah, she's nodding yes. So, I'm tired, but I am very sad to see the end of this conference. But I do, however, understand that we have much to consider in its aftermath, thanks to our thoughtful and engaging students. I'm eager to reach out and have the Foundation reach out to other new faces in parapsychology, as they are literally the future of our science. If today is any indication, our future is bright. I would ask you who are here with us today and those who will join us later, accessing the recordings of our program, to spread the word that PF is looking to perhaps create in some fashion an assemblage of, say, a working group of newcomers to the field, with an idea to lending whatever support the PF has at hand to assist in their career development, with an eye to, of course, their continued contribution to parapsychological research. I assure you that Nancy and Carlos and I will be considering this in depth. Many of you know that the PF experienced its own NDE, near-death experience, with the loss of most of our financial work during the global nightmare in 2008. Slowly, we have literally clawed our way back, managing to celebrate last year our 60th anniversary. Of course, I would ask you for donations, but also for your support in however you deem possible to spread the word of our long-standing efforts to help and augment the field. Nothing lasts forever, although we are certainly trying, but our Board of Trustees has determined that even if it hastens PF's demise, we choose to maximize our contribution by once again offering our scholarship and award program. This end, with formal announcements coming, I can share with you that we will definitely be reinstating year our annual Eileen J. Garrett Scholarship for undergraduate studies, as well as from time to time our Francis Bolton Award, Judith A. and Charles T. Tartt Student Award, Scholarly Incentive Award, with occasional grants as goes without saying that if PF had more finances to draw on, we would be able to expand our programs. So please keep that in mind. Literally, we seek to put what little money we still have, as we say in America, to put our money where our mouth is. We have also made mention occasionally of our PF Lyceum courses. Historically, we have provided. We'll soon be coming in the PF Lyceum Academy is IQ platform. Our PF Lyceum website, that's www.pflyceum.org, undergoing an overhaul, as has slowly the rest of all our websites, to be mobile ready, more accessible, and hence user-friendly. Our PF YouTube channel grows literally weekly as we convert the treasure trove of classic lectures, conference presentations, interviews, to the mass through our history with the field. And we will have the inclusion of newly filmed endeavors, such as our soon-to-launch PF on the Move series. We'll start quite fittingly with the Divine Research Center at the Parapsychology's Modern Experimental Research launch. We have some other directives on the back burner that will be announced, so please don't count us out. And remember to follow us on social media and on our new launch blog at www.parapsychology.org. Feel free to reach out to me with questions or suggestions, and the rest of the PF family. Our research fellows, Dr. Ronnie and Alvarado, along with Drs. Matlock and Kathy Dalton, our research associate, Gonzalo Vega, our administrative assistant, Anastasia Wallace, our outreach coordinator, Natasha Schmidt, and film archivist, Brian Williams, while holding no specific title other than past Eileen Barrett Scholarship Award winner, often lent support and expertise for which areas, and he certainly is one of our gang. Together, as I often say, onwards and upwards, like our PF spiral, undulating progressively forward. And with your help, we can further our quest for answers to the mysteries of the psychic world. Thank you for joining us today, and hopefully again in the near future. Come to think it's very near as the Paramove 2017. So thank you for your participation, and I think we all owe a great vote of thanks to Nancy. She must be exhausted. I know we probably all are, but a wonderful moderator, and of course the inestimable Dr. Alvarado, who's had lots of compliments already today. So I thank you, you two especially, all of you. Until next time.
Thank you very much, Lizette. That was wonderful. And as I was writing in the chat, we are going to be putting together her remarks from this morning and from this evening into a blog. Well, she's going to be putting it together into a blog for PF, and I'll show you where the blog page is after a while. So would you like me to shut off your video, Lizette? Yes? Yeah. Okay. All right. There you go. Well, thank you very much. And as I was saying before, Carlos Alvarado and I were speaking, his husband, before we came back for the 7 p.m. And Carlos was saying that what struck him the most about this conference, just as the PF international conferences that were face-to-face from 1953 forward, it's a proof positive that it's very important to maintain an international perspective. We have a Portuguese student who's studying at the University of Edinburgh in Scotland. We have Songar Mati, whose mentor, Zoltan Vasi, works for the Laboratories of Fundamental Research run by Ed May, and the other office, besides California, Hungary, and Budapest, is in India. And Gabriel Teixeira de Medeiros, who is the intellectual descendant of Professor Wellington Zangari and Dr. Fatima Machado, who are also with the PF and as affiliates and have come up through the ranks from when they were young and people were just watching to see what they were going to do next. So the international perspective is very important, and what PF does in terms of its grants and so on is also very important to give us all the motivation, make sure we know we're being watched by happy people who love our work, and that's what we've tried to convey to these three young extraordinary people today. So we want to express our gratitude, all of us, to Ana Flores, Chongar Mati, and Gabriel, who is here, and to express our gratitude to all of you. And I'm going to give you a chance to weigh in on our folks. And if anyone has any questions they want to ask or anything else that they want to say, I'm going to open up everybody's pen. And you all know how to get to the left-hand side of the frame and pick up something to write in the chat or put something up on the board. One of the things that I personally thought was really wonderful about Anna's talk is that she has an extremely complex topic that she's working on. I confess I've been hearing Walter von Lukadu speak about his theoretical ideas since the 1980s, and without a physics background, I often am lost at sea. But you could tell as he was going along that he was heading somewhere wonderful. And last year, when Dr. Dick Bierman was giving a talk for the Paramove 2016, he talked about this consortium of universities that were gathering together to take up some of the best experimental parts of parapsychology and try to set up a proactive group of people who were doing replications around the world in different universities. In his case, he was focused on the group that's working on presentiment. Anna brings to us the news that her work is part of that international consortium, and it was quite a very large group of people, of universities that she mentioned, being involved in the replication of experiments that are foundational to this notion of the correlation matrix. So the correlational matrix method. So this was very good news, I would have to say. And she did a wonderful job of taking that very difficult, I thought, difficult topic and making it understandable. So if anybody wants to make a comment about this or has something to say, I am going to just do this to get you started, because she was, I think, a very wonderful experience. We really had a good time listening to her, I think, and I hope you all agree with me. As we would say, I'll say later too, all of these things are available in recordings, and if you have friends that you think would be interested or colleagues in her work or the work of any of our other speakers, that just the enrollment is open on the International Conference until February 24th, and you can hand out the course link to any folks that you want, or you can have them get in touch with us. There's lots of iterations on Facebook that include the course link to the conference link, so that you can get in there and watch the recordings. Carlos tells me that 2 out of 3 of our speakers already have recordings in place of their live sessions. So there's lots of material that's available there, and the PowerPoints are all downloadable, and we have chat logs for the 3 substantive. Thanks to Doug, who got the chat log for Chongar's talk, which I lost. So any other comments anybody wants to make, we can move on to Machi. And I hope oh, Margaret's writing good. This was also a revelation. I thought it was an excellent talk, and it was a good piece of Gonfeld research. And it's wonderful to hear that he and his students are going to take this topic forward in Hungary, so another country is heard from. And excellent English. We should all aspire, those of us who are not unilingual, as opposed to bi or multilingual, to learn other languages, I think, because the barrier is always there. Yeah, it is wonderful. And actually, we had a number of nominations beyond these folks, and were either unable to get paralingual, like Carlos. We were unable to either schedule them because of time conflicts or get a hold of them, actually. So that's how we ended up with only 3, but I think we got 3 extraordinary speakers. Now we just have to convince Chandra that he needs to go for his PhD. That would be great. Any comments or questions about Mati? And Gabriel has just come back, so we can all say wonderful things about Gabriel with him here, which is not going to be difficult to do. So I'll start this off. This I thought, as I wrote to him in the thank you note that I wrote him, I think this is a very interesting way of looking at OBEs, and certainly very important. So we really enjoyed Gabriel's talk, and everybody agree with me that the English was quite good. Nothing to worry about here. And Lizette and Carlos and Carlos and I actually met. I'm going to tell you a tale, Gabriel, that you can use whenever you want. But Carlos and I met Wellington Zangari when he was 21 years old, which is a long time ago. He came to the Rhine Research Center to, he was coming to America to buy computers for his father's business, and he made a deal with his father that if he had to come and represent the company, could he please go to a series of parapsychology places, and because that was his interest. So he showed up at the Rhine Research Center in, I guess, would have been 1990, something like that. And Carlos and I were not at the office at that point. And Richard Broughton, who was the executive director of, I think he was the director of research then, called Carlos on the phone and said, we have a guy here speaking, we're not sure. We think it's Spanish, but I think he's from Brazil. Can you come over right now? So Carlos went over and met Wellington, and we kind of took care of him for the next few days when he was there. And he came back a couple of years later when Fatima, who was his girlfriend then, came to the summer study program. And it was really wonderful to have them around, and that was they were already working on the first version of Intercy, which has moved from university to university as they have gone. And not only was he eager and interesting and a lot of fun to be around as a very young guy, and the two of them as well, but he also ate the most hot chicken wings I have ever seen anybody eat in one sitting. 36 chicken wings with buffalo sauce on them. It was pretty amazing. So we were glad we had him there. You know, this was another great talk. And these three talks were so different, weren't they? They were just amazingly different. We had a theoretical one, a very practical kind of Gonfeld telepathy experiment that had emotion, which is very important now, and then this new look at out-of-body experiences. So I think we did really well with these guys. So you cannot imagine how amazing we were. How amazed we were. He actually lived through that in Wellington. 36 wings. Oh my goodness. Out of Ruby Tuesdays, that's still there in Durham. We had lunch there not too long ago, and that's all we were talking about was Wellington and his wings. That's it. Representative of the field, pick your spot. That's one of the nice things about parapsychology is that, it's difficult to get work. It's difficult to deal with mainstream scientists and so on. But it's so in need of people to help with the research that you can literally, as a young person, not with a PhD yet or anything, you can come into the field and find a spot and work very hard on whatever interests you and make a name for yourself. And Brian Williams is another example. And I agree with him. We had such a nice range of topics here today. So let me get down to the commercial. And most of you folks have been with us a long time, but the new parapsychology.org website is up. We are still working on the pages. However, the two most recently active pages are the PF blog. Lizetta's been running blogs. Let me get my pointer instead of my smiley face. She's been writing blogs for the foundation. We've got another one coming. And PF News, where we've been putting up information of our events. And, for instance, PF Research Fellow Jim Matlock has a course coming up called Signs of Reincarnation. We've put out information about that on Facebook, and he also has a new book coming out, so there'll be another blog post on him. He wrote a book with Erlander Haraldson about children's memories of previous lives. And if you haven't seen the library visit, that's wonderful. You really should take a look at it. It gives you a nice tour of the Eileen J. Garrett Library in Greenport. Anna Damalis took this film, and it's a lovely way to get to see the inside and think of ways to come and have an appointment and spend a week at the Garrett Library in Greenport, which is a really wonderful town. Cymart.com is also up. It's still being built out with all of the products, and once all of the regular products are in there, there will be also links off to the products on Zazzle.com and elsewhere. This is one of the ways that we can fundraise for ourselves, is to have the products that are available, and if we have a for-fee online activity, people can sign up there and so on. So this is also being built out, but it's up and redesigned and new. And as Lizette said, the PF Lyceum site and the EHE.org site, Psychic Explorers, and a couple of sites that she's been talking to people about taking over from them as they retire out of the field. So we may have some more in our suite of sites going forward. But these two, parapsychology.org and Cymart.com, are already up. and are being edited and filled out and so on as we go. And you can buy things from there. It works. The other one is the Zazzle store that I think we told you about when we first opened it, and my mug actually looks a lot like this, but it has the PF 65-year anniversary logo on it. So there's mugs and other kinds of things available here. This is also a fundraiser for the Parapsychology Foundation. Plus, it's just kind of fun to have stuff around with parapsychology on it. And then this is probably one of the most important outreaches of the foundation besides what we're doing on, or in addition to what we're doing on the social media teaching platform WizIQ, where you guys are all veterans pretty much. This one I didn't get around to editing. You can see here that the last time I put up a picture of the site, this was for the, I think it was for the physical mediumship. It was either for the physical mediumship class or the book expo that we had in this past November. There were 260 people who had subscribed to the PF's YouTube channel, and we had about 60 videos up at that time. I think we've topped 80 by now, and as of last night, there were 333 subscribers. This is also very important to us because we've monetized these videos, the things that come from the Parapsychology's legacy archive of films and things that we're filming at the moment. And every time somebody views one of these or shares it or whatever, the foundation gets a little bit money back for this. Another way to make sure, not only can you click on the subscribe button, and you can find this just by searching for Parapsychology Foundation on YouTube. You'll be able to download this PowerPoint a little bit later, and you have a direct link to the page. The other way you can make sure you don't miss anything, in addition to subscribing, is if you can see this little bell. This is a new feature of YouTube that only became available maybe a few weeks back. If you click on this, this is the notification bell. Their algorithm for putting up things on your subscribers pages have changed. So if you have a YouTube channel you're following that you really love and you want to make sure you get all the notifications, clicking on this little bell will send you an email to your registered email, and you will get little, like, one-line emails that say, Parapsychology Foundation has uploaded our Children Very Psychic today, so go and see it. And that's really useful because I find that some of the YouTube channels that I follow regularly are kind of slipping down in the sweepstakes with this new change in the way they do the algorithm. And the way I can make sure that I see what's going on is by having this little bell clicked. And when you click it, it makes puts two little parentheses on either side, which makes it look like the bell is ringing. And that's the way to tell if you've remembered to click on the notifications. It's very customizable, so you don't have to get absolutely everything that they send out. And then, of course, wanted to remind you about all of this and to tell you to look for us on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, Instagram, and Google. Anna takes care of the Instagram page, and there's always lots of wonderful pictures. Whenever we get a new book, it goes up there, and Google Plus as well. So we're out on social media and really want to keep in touch with you. So there's one final thing that I wanted to give you, and hold on a second because I'm gonna pick this up from a different window. If you haven't, most of you I think are in the Paramook. If you haven't joined the Paramook, we started on January 16th. We started on the 23rd of January with our guest speakers. There's 16 of them in total. We will have the third guest speaker on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, Dr. Masayuki Okado on perinatal and postnatal memories of children. And he is playing a trailer from a movie about this kind of research that will be shown in Japan, and it is also closed captioned in English, and there will be a discount from the director for any member of our course to come and see this, download or come and see the movie. And Carlos has posted a link to his blog on Parapsychology News History, News History and Research, his blog, and it's a very good blog that tells people all about the course and the speakers and so on. So if you have friends that are interested and haven't signed up, feel free to share that out to everybody. And it's a good course, I think, and we have a lot of people in here, I think almost everybody in the room except for Gabriel are students in that course. We've got 175 people at the moment. We're hoping to grow as we usually do. I'd like to apologize for having to cancel the discussion forum on Sunday, but we will be having one coming up in this week, later this week. So that should be great, I think. And anything else anybody wants to say or comment on what has gone on today? And we would like to just once again tell you how happy we are that these three very extraordinary young people have come and talked about their work for us, and how happy we are that all of you guys have stayed in the game until 7:30 at night, which is absolutely marvelous. We really appreciate it. So, anybody have anything to say? I think how nice. We're having a many things coming up. Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful experience, I think, today. And that's an existential angry face. That is not an angry face that has anything to do with today's event. It might have something to do with what's going on in our country, but nothing to do with today's event. We've had a wonderful day today, even if we're all kind of like, oh, time to go to bed. So thank you, Brian. Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Lizette and Anna. Thank you, Jarko. Get some sleep. Thank you, Doug, especially for the chat log, but just for everything. Thank you, Marla. Thank you, Margaret. And thank you to everybody who was here all day today in any of the sessions. And thank you to everybody who's in the rest of you folks who are in the course and in the conference. Thank you for joining, and thank you for everybody who's watching the video. We're really glad to have you around. And don't forget the Parapsychology Foundation, because we're not going to forget you. So thank you, everybody. And we'll see you next time. Night-night now.
Hi there, I'm Lisette Coley. I'm president of Parapsychology Foundation. So welcome to our YouTube channel. We have lots to look at, so please check out our videos. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.